You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back. It is episode 147 this week. Mike, we got a lot to dissect today, a lot to debrief on. So let's jump into it with a quick schedule for the week. Sunday, the 27th, Mike, you had a little carousel recap of your time at Myrtle Beach there. We're going to get into that, break that down. We're certainly going to talk about that because it seems like you had an awesome trip. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Sunday, that came out. Hopefully you guys saw it. Mike played some awesome courses and really a nice little recap there. Yesterday, Monday, the 28th, was our course feature on Great Gorge. Mike and I went up. We played Great Gorge Golf Club, did a feature. You're going to see Mike has a Mike verse there yesterday as well. I have a Ryan verse coming out tomorrow at Great Gorge. Mike played the 9th hole, par 4 on the rail course. They have 3 9s there. It's 27 holes. Again, we're going to get into it a little bit as we go into the episode, talk a little bit about it. But the course feature came out yesterday, so if you have not listened to it, again, go over, check it out. Really a cool little spot. Today, the 29th, episode 147, like I said. Mike, wave to the camera for those watching on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All of our content lives here on YouTube. If you're listening, again, rate, review, subscribe, hit that like button, all those things that you can do. You don't know how far that goes for us, so we really appreciate it. As I said, Wednesday, tomorrow is Ryan verse, Great Gorge, par 3, 3rd hole on the Quarry course. I think the backdrop, Mike, might be one of, if not the best that I've ever recorded. Really a beautiful hole. And then our interview for this week is David Killen. He is the general manager of Great Gorge. So we're going to talk to him, hear his thoughts. It gives a history of what's been going on there. It's really, really cool. And kind of while we're early on in this, if you don't know, Great Gorge is part of the old Playboy Club from, back from the 70s. Hugh Hefner built it, built this hotel and the golf course, trying to make a kind of an oasis resort right outside New York City. So he gets in, kind of talks about the history and all that kind of stuff and what's been going on with it since. So really great interview with David there. And then Friday, Mike, you did a 3 and 30. That's coming out Friday, and anything else we have is going to be bonus for this week. So that is our weekly schedule for this week there, Mike.
Today's episode is brought to you by All County Exteriors, your go-to for roofing, siding, windows, doors, and all things exterior home remodeling. As a third-generation family-owned company with over 40 years of experience, All County has earned the reputation for top-quality craftsmanship and service, far outlasting the industry standard. Whether it's a small repair or a full home upgrade, they serve both homeowners and builders across New Jersey. They're deeply rooted in the community, proudly supporting Make-A-Wish, St. Jude's, Roofs for Troops, and parents of autistic children. Thinking about a project? Now's the time. Get an instant 20% off for a limited time. Call 732-370-2780 or email them info@allcountyonline.com to schedule your free, no obligation consultation. That's 732-370-2780. All County Exteriors, quality you can trust. Yeah, so it's a big Great Gorge week, as people can probably see from everything we got coming out, whether it's content, whether it's course features, whether it's interviews. But real quick, let me kind of go through the fast facts here, kind of recapping the 3M Open out there in Minnesota. Currently, Chris is sitting T7. Chris is playing some unbelievable golf as of late. As you know, if you've listened, you obviously you've heard us go through this, now 3-week rant about how well he's playing with Ryder Cup possibilities on the back end. And obviously, if Chris did pull out a victory, you probably have heard from us already.
No doubt.
But unfortunately, Max and John both did miss the cut. So that's kind of where that is. But as we look ahead, this is the last regular season, more or less. The fall finale comes out after the FedEx Cup, but this is the last event before the FedEx Cup playoffs begin. It's the Wyndham Championship. Max and John are both in the field. Chris is taking the week off because he's on a little bit of a whirlwind 3-week span, and he's done some damage in terms of climbing the rankings. But
and did he play before the Scottish Open? He's played 3 in a row, and he probably played weeks before. He probably hasn't had a week off in a month and a half, 2 months. So
yeah, on top of all the traveling too.
Yeah.
So they, what looks like you got to be in the top 70 now to make it after this coming week at the Wyndham. Okay. And then we start kind of dissecting things from there. Currently, Max is sitting at 55. So he looks to be safe to getting in. But the only way John Pack gets into the first playoff event is he's got to win. Okay. He's got to win. Otherwise, he is out and having to wait for the fall finale to kind of start. So kind of a big week for John Pack in terms of where things lie. Max is looking to climb the ranks a little bit so he can find a way to secure that tour championship spot. So that's what I got on the PGA Tour. Now, if we head down a little bit to the Korn Ferry Tour, the NV5 Invitational was going on. James did miss the cut. Nothing exciting to report about Ryan, kind of sitting in that T55 range. Made a cut, cashing checks, but not really moving up the rankings.
Necks.
Yeah, not really climbing up the points list though on that FedEx Cup on the points list for the Korn Ferry Tour. So he's kind of struggling a little bit there. Both are back in action this week at the Utah Championship. I decided not to write the entire name down for this one.
What?
But yeah, I didn't. It was way too long. Way too long.
Well, now I'm going to the Google machine.
But those two are back in the event this week, and hopefully we get some stronger finishes because both those guys are sitting well outside the points list to secure a card for 2026 in the PGA Tour.
The Utah Championship presented by Zion Bank and Intermountain
Health.
Yeah, I had to scroll over because it was so long. All right. Yeah. It's getting. I don't know where the summer went, dude. It's really starting to come down to time. We got the. I didn't even realize that the FedEx Cup was this close to coming up. The playoffs are right here, so it's kind of getting to that point where the pressure is building for sure. Back in April, May, you're trying to still to make cuts, get money, gain points, but now you're in the pressure cooker for sure. So, Mike, I got a little fast fact here for you. And maybe it's fast fact at Jace, but I'm sure you saw it because I know how much you live on your phone. Did you see Augusta National's river that was running through Amen Corner after Hurricane Helene last year?
I did, and I have one comment about it. Okay. Yeah, that was absolutely insane. To your point, go check it out if you have not seen it. But I'll say this. The people that run Augusta National, okay, the board, the chairman, the people, quite frankly, they need to run the damn country because those guys find a way to get things done. I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Those guys find a way every April, no matter if a river's going through, no matter if a hurricane flies through, they get their golf course looking unbelievable every year, regardless of what circumstances they're given. They need to run the country.
If you don't know what we're talking about, open up Instagram right now. Go to Zaire Golf. That's where I saw it. I'm sure it was everywhere else, Mike. Go see what's happening because the 12th hole, 10, 11, 12, 13. The river that's going through there is a whitewater rapid. that's quite frankly going through. It is wild to see. So the fact that they were able to host just 7 months later a Masters championship is beyond wild to me. It was crazy to see. It was I was blown away. I did not realize when I first saw it. I was like, that's crazy, and they're going to be in trouble for the Masters next year. I was thinking that is happening now for next year. No. Already happened. Already cleaned up. And to your point, those people there doesn't matter. Get it done. That you have to work 24 hours. Then good. Money's not an option here. So you're going to get it done. They really are. It's really, it continues to impress as wild of a place as Augusta is, that something like that can get fixed, cleaned up in that short amount of time. Really, really crazy. So from there, Mike, again, I just wanted to add my little fast fact about it there. But let's get into this, because you had yourself a week. You went down to Myrtle Beach. I've been down a number of times. Mom's down in that area, so I got a little more familiarity. So we were talking about some courses you should play and places that I've been, and we kind of had back and forth there. And you were able to go stay and have a tremendous week. So why don't you take the floor and just tell us about your trip there?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to dissect here. I'm not going to spend 30 minutes just harping on this golf trip, but I will say this:
All right, so 28 will be fine.
so we had a phenomenal time. The weather was perfect. The people that we met were amazing, and some of the things that I kind of just, it's new to someone like me that operates at a very, very fast pace. I am go, 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 go. Let's go, let's go. From the minute I wake up, and going down there, it's a very slow atmosphere. And not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not something I'm accustomed to doing. And whether it's food, whether it's golf, whether it's just driving, it's just a lot slower of a way to live. And that was one of the things I had to get accustomed to, because I'm just like, let's go. I'm a high energy, high functioning, I just like it fast. Let's go. And that was one thing I had to get used to being down there. And I thought it was important on Sunday to kind of put out this carousel, because the amount of texts and DMs that I was getting was like, oh, what'd you shoot? How'd you finish? All these things. What'd you think of this golf course? So Shaq and I kind of were working a lot behind the scenes, making this carousel go out on Sunday to kind of show what we shot each day. And I got to obviously start with a lot of thank yous in this whole thing, as I think is always important, because the people down there were beyond accommodating, not only to me, but to my family as well. From Brett at Tidewater to Bart at True Blue in Caledonia, to Dennis Nickel at the Dunes Club. Like, there's so many people that we could just go on and on and on about, that kind of opened the door for us to play, experience their golf course, to talk about their golf course, and just really to welcome us with open arms. And you hear that Southern hospitality, kind of language a lot. Well, we got to witness it and experience it firsthand. So, those people did unbelievable things for us kind of behind the scenes. So I think it's important that, we kind of harp on that as well, because, you've gotten to experience it. You get to see it a lot. We got to see it firsthand this past week as well.
I can't co-sign that enough, Mike. The people down there are salt of the earth, most genuine people that there are. It's amazing. The incredibleness of, again, I know Bart and Brett are really my two experiences of what you dealt with, but they're two of the best people that I've ever met in the golf industry. Their want and their drive to help us is second to none. They're really, really impressive. And it's really fortunate for us that they're at those 3 golf courses between the two of them, that it's such a wonderful relationship that we've started to develop. Yeah, they're absolutely great. And I should have warned you, things move slower down there. For sure. It is. And I'll tell you, as I've mentioned, my mom's down there. My mom loves it. That's her. She calls it her happy place. She loves that it's not the hustle and bustle of when she's up here. That's their time to relax. She likes that speed. And that's why a lot of people like it down there, for that reason, which can be tough, when you're a Jersey driver and you're used to, hey, the speed limit is a suggestion. No, they're taking the speed limit as a hard and fast rule. So some things are a little different down there in that regard, but it's it's nice when you can lean into it and you can relax a little bit and go that pace and kind of absorb life a little bit.
Yeah, and I can't lie, obviously it was a 6-month planning operation for someone like me to make sure the golf courses were lined up, the tee times were lined up, and throughout that process, I was very lucky to make friends, I guess, more or less with the people that handle Play Golf Myrtle Beach. They were beyond kind and sharing a lot of things, communicating via text, and then also the Myrtle Beach Golf Trails, like those two big handles on Instagram were people that I was able to connect with behind the scenes to help share some things, to kind of open doors for us that gets us another avenue of new listeners, new followers. And so I got to thank them as well because, it's one of those things that I'm always trying behind the scenes to connect with this person or that person. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But these two handles were phenomenal. These two people that handle them were texting me on the side, love the stuff, love the content. So, again, another nice connection made throughout the process there.
No doubt.
Are you looking for the perfect place to tee it up this season? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food? Or the most picturesque backdrop for the wedding of your dreams? Then you need to visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey. Galloping Hill has 18 holes of championship level golf open all year round. They also offer a top 50 in the country learning center that also includes the swing suite at Galloping Hill for those bad weather days during the season, in addition to a 9-hole course that is ranked in the top 10 of short courses in the entire country. Galloping Hill is more than just golf. The Hill Tavern Bar and Grill is a gastro pub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly with amazing views of the course. Hosting over 150 golf outings and over 400 social events per year, their catering team wins awards each year from the Knot and Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. To top it all off, Galloping Hill will be hosting the New Jersey Men's Public Links Championship for the record 12th time. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill.
It is beneficial for that area. And you could go north of Myrtle Beach, but there's a lot of transplants from New Jersey in that area. As again, we found out from, people who listen, but even, but again, going back to, mom's down there and the amount of people in her community or, in her circles that I've found that are moving down there from New Jersey, it's really a pipeline of people from New Jersey that are going there. So there is that Jersey connection down there. It's not, it's not like we're two guys from Idaho and there's nothing to do with us here. Or, for you and I to start a podcast talking about Jackson Hole, Wyoming, right? There's no connection there. There's a connection in the Myrtle Beach, that Grand Strand area for sure that has that Jersey connection. So, it only kind of brings us a little bit more together there.
Yeah, and one final thank you was Trey at Barefoot. He was another guy that I was able to connect with that kind of opened the doors for us to play, 2 of their golf courses while even staying, in that little resort area as well. So, that's really, the people I have to thank behind the scenes to help me and my family kind of make this whole thing work. And when it comes to the golfing aspect, listen, it's hard. It's very hard for people like us that are spoiled that play unbelievable golf courses on a day in and day out basis. And I'm the first one to admit that. And they're, if you were to ask me, like, what are the better courses down there out of the stretch that we've played? I was fortunate. I played a lot of good golf. I played really good at times.
You really did.
Some days I had to grind out some scores, but I knew that the over and unders were going live on Instagram, right? And I turned into, like, if I made a double early on, I couldn't just throw the round and I couldn't give up because I knew my critics would come out and be like, 87, you stink. So there was times I grinded out 77s and 78s because I didn't want to hear it from the people. That was my motivation to play good golf the entire week. So I'll say this I'm not going through every golf course. If you want to know about every golf course, shoot me a DM and we can talk about it specifically. But I'll say this, the private golf course, the Dunes Golf and Beach Club, is the exception to the courses in this list, right? They're the one private golf course. It hosts the Myrtle Beach Classic down there. So it's a completely different golf course than the others. Okay. It's private. It has different resources. It has different views. It's in different shape, right? That course is in its own league. So for me to sit here and compare it to a public golf course is just not fair. And I won't do that. So I will say, like,
Be
out
like
of this list,
comparing Baltusrol to Ballyowen, right?
right? Yeah, two very good golf courses, right? But
Right.
there's still a difference. And I'll say this: the Dunes Golf and Beach Club, Dennis Nickel and their guys over there, they do a phenomenal job. Awesome, awesome logo with the alligator. Like, the views out there are special. And one thing I will say about Dunes, besides the course being in sick shape, is if you've played there, they got a stretch of holes called that are 11, 12, and 13. It's called Alligator Alley. It's named by Herbert Warren Wind, who also named Amen Corner at Augusta National. So when I talked to Dennis leading into the trip, I had told him what my goal was with filming. And right at that point, they were a little skeptical whether or not I could film because of all the private, different PR relationships they have. But he gave me the go ahead. And I was able to film a lot of content while I was out there. And I did film 11, 12, and 13. And when I say this, number 13 was a 599-yard par 5, dogleg right over, like kind of like a horseshoe over water. I made the highest score I ever made on camera. That it got to the point my brother was like, "Are you really going to post this? Like, do you want to just have a mulligan?" And I'm like, "Nope. I'm as transparent as it comes. I'm very honest and blunt. If I make a 30, here's a 30. If I make a hole in one, you're going to see it. So I say this, when that 3 and 30 comes out from Alligator Alley at the Dunes Club, you're going to be like, wow, never saw you do that. But I did, and it was fun, and I posted it. And that ended up being my highest score of the round. I shot 82. Hardest golf course, too, I think I played. So, the Dunes Club, if you got the opportunity to go play that while you're in Myrtle, it's a must play.
I will say there's not a ton of fully private courses down there. So
that might be the only one.
I'm trying to rack my brain to think of other ones, and I don't know if there is. So at least in that area.
Yeah, my research gave it to me as it was the only one in that area, but I don't know the area as well as you do.
Yeah, I don't. I'm having a tough time because you know what? They will say that there is up in New Jersey, when we hear country club, instantly we all know that that's a private place, right? Down there are places that say country club, and it's open to the public or semi-private. So
a lot of semi-private.
Yeah. So there is that. So for it to be the only fully private course, again, I don't know of another one. So you would have to think that it's going to be a little bit, again, on that second level up, we should say.
It was. And then we got to the public golf courses. I'll say this: if some of the courses weren't in the best of shape, and obviously the weather is tough down there, it's hot. And some of the greens were not in very good shape, even though the golf course and the characteristics and the bones were so good. The greens just weren't, in the best of shape. But I'll say this: if you ask me to rank these, okay, in like my top 3 out of these golf courses, I didn't think it was close. I thought Tidewater was far and away the best one of all of them. The condition, the views, the layout. To me, I was like, this is good. Every hole on that little stretch on the intercoastal, I think that is, or whatever that body of water is out there, like, was amazing. And it's hard, but it's fair. It's challenging, but you can score. I thought it wasn't even close to me that I could play Tidewater every day. To me, that is like an unbelievable golf course. And it's crazy to think that, like, that's another Kemper Sports Run golf course, which we've become so friendly with. It's insane. So I thought Tidewater was the gem of that stretch for me, to be honest with you.
You could take the intercoastal. You could have taken that all the way back home. That goes all the way up to LBI and becomes part of the Barnegat Bay. I'm trying to think of the body of water. I think it's the Barnegat Bay. So yeah, it's those views are beautiful. I don't need to say any more about Tidewater as well. I think we know my feelings on it. It's awesome there. It's really, really special. So for it to
Yeah.
be your number one course, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say Tidewater
Love it
was
there as well.
one. I'd say True Blue again was number two, and I'd put Caledonia three. Those, I thought True Blue was very, very good too. Again, challenging the way the water presented itself in a lot of different holes. Um, it just had a uniqueness that I felt like it was more like Tidewater um, than the others. Conditions again there were phenomenal, and being able to ride the hogs out there while I was playing with my dad's friend, it was like crazy. Us just scooting around this whole place. Super fun thing to do while you're out there if you get the opportunity. Um, yeah, so True Blue was another good one, and Caledonia was right behind it. I thought Caledonia was not as good as True Blue, and that's not to say that Caledonia is bad, but I just thought if you had to rank them, to me you have to have a 1, and a 2, and a 3. I just think it's a little below it, and I think because it's not as long. So I felt like in that course I was hitting a lot more wedges into greens, and it just was like even by I don't know, I don't know.
I think I know you pretty well. And I didn't want to say this before. I know we texted and we talked a little bit about this, but I did think that you were going to like True Blue better than Caledonia just because you like some of those features better. And I know that Caledonia, like I like the look of Caledonia. To me, it doesn't matter if I'm hitting wedges into every shot because I'm not hitting driver every hole. So it's not driver wedge. Sometimes, you got to avoid a bunker. Like there's other stuff in the course that make it hard. But to your point and to what suits your eye, True Blue has grand scale things. The bunkers are massive. The faces of the bunkers are enormous, right? It's a vast there's a vastness to True Blue that there's not at Caledonia. To your point, it is smaller, it is more compact, and I did think that you were going to like True Blue better because I know that you liked it. Like we've talked about some of the courses that are like you feel like you're in a box, right? And I feel like Caledonia is in a box in your definition of it. So I felt like you would like True Blue better because of that.
Yeah, and I listen, the stretch 16, 17, 18 at True Blue is so sick. So sick. That par 3 over Woodard stretching like 215 is no joke. 17, that par 4 with the wind, they tucked the pin way right on 17, so you had to hit your second shot over it. So sick. And then 18 is beautiful. So
Yeah.
to me, like that final 3 holes, which I did do of 3 and 30 on those last 3 coming in, is what I thought was unreal. And not that Caledonia didn't have that, right? The 18th hole there is clearly special for a reason. No discrediting that. But I just thought even like other holes at True Blue, like number 3, that par 3 with the bunker surrounding the water, the huge lake there, like then you go right into the par 5 with the water on the left, and you got like there were so many good holes at True Blue that I just thought it was a better golf course in my opinion than Caledonia. So like my order, I'd go Tidewater, True Blue, Caledonia. I'd give them all A's. Like if you asked me to give them grades, I give them A. And then the other 4, listen, they're solid golf courses. Like River's Edge, Barefoot, both the Fazio course, the Dye Club, which is the only semi-private one out of all of Barefoot's courses, was another solid, deep bunker-like golf course. And Crow Creek is one in Calabash, North Carolina that I wouldn't sleep on. That place was the only course that had bent grass, which I was stunned with because that's what we play up here in New Jersey. And alligators all over the place in those little ponds, and it was in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, I was actually on 17. Did you see I'm sorry, 17 at True Blue. Did you see were there alligators like on the beach there?
None, no alligators.
Interesting. At 18, the same thing.
Nothing. The only alligators we saw were at Crow Creek.
Oh wow! Because you're elevated up, like the fairways are up, and then you got to take steps down. They got that little beach there. It's crazy that you didn't see alligators there because I mean I must have between those 2 holes I must have saw 10 alligators. I mean that's wild. So it's interesting that obviously like not every course is going to be a winner, right? Not that they're not a winner, but like you can't play all A's, right? There's some golf courses that are they know their lane, right? They know that they're, where they're sitting. Crow Creek is one that I'm very interested in. Again, I know that area. I've played some of the barefoot courses. I think the die course is the only one I haven't played. But they do a great job there. They're resort courses. I mean, it's a factory there. They got 4 courses. There's there's going to be levels at a place like that, right? So, that's just what you're going to get at some of those places. So, yeah, good. I think you got a good range there of the dunes. You got these 3, and then the others that you played are again a more fun course, little maybe a notch below.
Yeah, listen, all in all, it was a phenomenal trip. We only got rained on 5 holes, and we played a lot of golf. We played, 8 courses you saw in 5 days. And it's one of those things, listen, as I've gotten older and you're able to step back and look at where you've played, that really becomes irrelevant. It's real like who did you play with and the memories that you made while you're out there. And, I know I say this a lot, like those are things that in the moment you may take for granted because you just made a double bogey, but when you're able to step back and think about all the fun jokes or the jabs or the side comments, that's what things that you enjoy golf trips are about. And that's why you hear every single person in America say it. Like, if you have the opportunity to go on a golf trip with buddies, family, whoever, it's like, you got to just figure it out.
Yeah.
So great time. Thank you to everybody down there. If you want more information about all these golf courses, DMs are always open, as we say.
And Mike, for those that don't know, I think we did say it, like you went down with your brother, your dad, and your dad's friend, and you know how much that warms my heart that you guys got to go there and experience that and have that. Like you said, just the thought of you and your brother in a golf cart driving down the fairway is, again, it just warms my heart. So, I got to ask. I think I know the answer. I assume Matt drove the golf cart.
Oh, every person, we rode with different people every round. I rode with my dad, my brother. I didn't drive one time. The only time I drove was when I was driving the hog.
Just Miss Daisy. This could be Mike, Miss Daisy Poro is going to be.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the thing. And other golfers can attest to this. Some people want to drive the golf cart. They hate being the passenger princess and sitting there and like not having control of going to your ball first or my ball first. Like with my dad, you're never driving the golf cart with him. He's driving the golf cart. So others, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to fight over it. You go drive it. If I have to, I will. But I have no problem sitting in the passenger and just drive me to my golf ball, drive me to the green. And then, me, I like to walk though too. And this way I don't have to worry about the cart.
I will say I have gotten to the point now in all the driving that I do between the two of us. I've gotten to the point when I have been the passenger as of late. I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's like, no, put your foot on the pedal. Let's get to the ball. Why are you don't get off the path. The path is taking us the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Go on the fairway. There's certain things that I'm just like, why are you doing what you're doing? But I also know that I can't say anything because I'm not the one driving. So right. I do get to, whether you've ingrained it in me or not, but I've consciously thought about that the last couple times I haven't driven a golf cart. So, Mike, let's move over from your trip. Let's transition into the State Open, which was this past week. We gave our predictions. I said that one of the older Hamilton guys, I said Mark or Pat are going to win it. You said one of the younger Hamilton guys is going to win it, Dean or Reed. We were both really pretty spot on there. I mean, you and I got something working here. It seems like we know what we're talking about. Mark did end up winning. He beat Dean and got his second State Open there at Hamilton. So let's talk a little bit about this. I think that where we got to start here is Dean's opening round. I think that's where we got to start.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, I said Mean Dean was going to win the whole thing when he went out and shot 64 opening round. My phone was buzzing out there in Myrtle Beach because I wasn't able to just continuously hit the refresh button. So when I saw it, I had to text him and say, listen, let's go. What a round of golf. in 64, you know how it always goes in golf. Anytime you shoot a very, very low number, it's hard to always bounce back after that because your expectations now are just crazy. But Dean was able to fight his way through the entire round, and to go 8 under in a round of golf in a championship like that. I don't care if it's your home course. I don't care if it's a random course of Muni. Like 64 is some
It's
legit
wild.
golfing. And the
Yeah.
fact that he made no bogeys the entire round is just sickening. Um, yeah, he played really well. He played really well that opening round and kind of was in it was coasting after round one. But you say it a lot. It's like it's one round. It's early. He can't win it round one, but sometimes you can lose it. He was right there.
Yeah. I did say that. Mike texted me Dean with the eyes emoji, and I said there's a lot of golf to be played. Not that I'm not rooting, not that I'm rooting against Dean, but there was, and it is really hard. We know that golf is really hard, so the expectation is there, and I would love to know in Dean's second round what his thought process was. Does he think now, as he's gotten time to reflect? Do you think that there's been a way that some of your thoughts from, hey, I did this on this hole the day before. Now, okay, now I got to punch out. Now you kind of press a little bit in spots where he wouldn't normally have pressed just because of the previous round. So I'd be interested to hear those kind of stories. But I mean, they were right there. Mark was steady all week. 71, 67, 69, went 9 under. Just again, you could call 67 going low, but all of those to me are just steady, a couple under par each day, and that's playing really good golf, and that's kind of what you got to do. Again, Dean was a little up and down with 64, 75, 71, but right there, Dean and Reed right there, and then we've had Brent on the show as well. He was right there, and yeah, so a good showing at the top of the leaderboard there. I mean, and how many of these guys, Mike? I'm looking at it here. How many of these guys have we had on? Have we become close with?
Mm-hmm.
Again,
a lot of them.
Yeah. I was shocked, Mike, at how many people were under par, or the lack of people. Like only 15 people were under par for the tournament, and I thought there would be more people under par. Like the group of people would be larger, I guess.
Yeah, I think in the final round, the golf course kind of flexed its muscles a little bit, because if you look at the scores in the final round, you saw anything from Reed 67, which was low. Him and Derek Gutierrez, another former guest of the show, went 67, and he was a defending champion, to anywhere between like a 77.
Yeah.
So you could clearly see the golf course played a lot harder in terms of people going low. But yeah, when you look at
79, 82, yeah, you got
3 of the top 4 guys are members. 3 of the top 4 guys are members at Hamilton Farm. 3 of the top 4 are amateurs, which meant Brent Palladino collected the winning check because he was the highest professional finisher.
Yeah.
So he collects a nice 20G check.
Not too bad. Not too bad for a bit of day's work.
Finishing second.
But Mike, I'm going to go this to my point before. You keep going with like the amateurs. It was like the top 3 was Brent. Nick from Liberty National was 5th. Rhett Sellers, T7, Steve Shellock, 9th. Like the rest are in the top 10 there. You have only 4 that are professional golfers. So as we said, again, it seems like we know something about something there. We had a guy from Hamilton, Hamilton's up there. We had guys that are amateurs. We had amateurs up there. So again, it makes us look like we know something about something, which is pretty nice feeling.
Or we guess very well, one or the other.
I'm going to take that one. So again, another successful championship, and good for Mark for, his win. It's his second. You feel like you haven't heard his name much this summer. I think his baby's got to be coming up on a year old sometime.
Yeah.
So, I guess I don't know if he hasn't played much golf or what his schedule is, but, we do know he had the kid, and
He's kicking it in fine in gear. I talked to him.
yeah.
He played in the state open, state am. He played in
Yeah.
the state am. He just got done winning the state open, and
Yeah.
he's gearing up. He's playing in the MGA am, and he's playing the MGA Open. So like he's
Good.
you're going to start to see his name start to hover around now.
But that's what I mean. He's been a little quiet for the early part of the summer, and now it seems like he's going to be kicking it into gear. So good for him, and we'll be in touch with some of those guys in the next upcoming weeks here. Mike, another topic for today is, as we've said, Great Gorge. The recap came out yesterday, and if you haven't listened or watched, you can, again, go over to Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can listen to the audio part of that. If you want to watch it, head on over to YouTube. We sat down in a great little spot. They got their bar restaurant there is called Hef's Hut. We sat down on like the little outdoor patio there with a beautiful view in the background. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a overcast kind of time when we got there. It was a little bit cloudy, so you don't get the full effect, but you can. It does more than the job. I'm not saying that it's a bad view by any means, but a great little spot there. So that came out yesterday. So if you didn't watch that and you want to hear our recap of the course, go ahead and check it out. Mike, I know you were looking for my course rating of it, right? That's always what you want here.
Piece. That's a missing piece.
Because I don't like to do it. I'm not doing that in lifetime, right? I have a little bit of a process. I sit down at the computer, I fill out my sheet here, and I think about it, each one of these things. I'm not trying to do it instantly, like in the moment, because I don't want recency bias. I try to do it not too far away because I want to be able to remember things. Great Gorge got a 8.19 as its average score there. And again, there's some things that we didn't get to experience. I think we rolled like 3 putts each. We didn't go to a driving range or anything like that. So, I didn't give the practice facilities any score. We didn't eat anything there. So, no food and beverage. But I will say that Hef's Hut there is a really good spot. I legitimately think that it's a bar for like locals there. It seemed like a spot where they go over. So 8.19 was the score for Great Gorge.
Solid. I kind of was going to guess. My guess was somewhere like 8s. I didn't know if it was going to be high 8s, low 8s, but I just thought it was like a solid golf course. No doubt about it.
Really was. It's the history there. It has work to do. And I don't even mean like don't go play it because they still have work to do. No. If you listened yesterday, they had 6-foot high reeds growing in the bunkers 2 years ago. So the work that they've done on it is tremendous. The work that they still have to do to get it to where it's going to be, that's the worst score it's going to be. If we go up next year, I guarantee it's going to go up because they're going to continue to do work. David has a vision of that place. Him and the superintendent who quick secret, has been there 42 years. I think it's 42. It's in the 40s. 40 plus years is crazy, but they seem like they're in sync and in simpatico and kind of what their visions are of that. That place is going to get better and better and better. And you should go check it out now and get it on the ground floor there. Let's keep going, Mike. Happy Gilmore 2. It was hot. It came out Friday last week. I was actually disappointed in us that we didn't mention it last week's episode, that it was coming out. But I'll tell you, I'm sure you didn't watch it because I know you're not a movie guy. I'm still going to ask. Did you watch it?
No.
Right.
Listen, I'll say this. I will. Time. I will. I'll watch it, but I haven't had time to sit it down.
You got back from your trip and
just got back from trip. You know where we're going now. It's go.
Yeah. So I want to give I did watch it. I had it bookmarked on the calendar, and I told the fiance, "Hey, we're having a date night, right? My date night that I'm choosing is going to be popcorn on the couch and watching Happy Gilmore 2." So we watched it. I'll tell you, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it was I think, perfectly what it needed to be. It had cameos, it had inside jokes, it had everything. And what I thought about it, Mike, I think that people that don't like it don't necessarily know all of the ins and outs of some of the inside jokes. So that is the one thing I will say, that there's certain things like if you don't know who Paige Saranic is, then the scene that Paige is in isn't going to hit the same as someone who does know who Paige Saranic is, right? If you don't know who Nancy Lopez is, same thing. It's not going to be a cool scene for you, right? So like, I don't know if they're like, I don't want to call them inside jokes because it's not even like Nancy's up there making a whole lot of jokes, but like her and Nelly Corda are in a scene together. And if you don't know who they are, then you're just going to think it's two actors and you're like, okay, well, this scene doesn't necessarily fit or make sense. So that's what I mean by like, it's inside jokes. So I think it is a very golfy movie as opposed to the first one, which you don't need to be a golfer to watch it, right? This one, I still think you'd be entertained by it, but there's going to be things that you're going to miss. And the people who I've talked to already, you know, at work or whatever, that don't like it or thought it was, thought it wasn't funny, I don't know if they're catching all of those inside jokes. And again, I don't know if inside jokes is the right term, but like I think they might be missing some of those things. Because I belly laughed at some because I think it's cool to see those things.
Yeah, I'll have to tune in and watch. I will.
Yeah, you will. I tell you, movie opens with an enormous surprise that I was not ready for. So it's I liked it. I don't want to give too much about the movie away, but if you didn't watch it, it's well worth a watch. I will say that. You might not like it. It might be a one-time watch for you. Sometimes there's those movies. I'll certainly watch it again. It's at worst case scenario, it's entertaining.
There you go.
So, Mike, we do need to end this episode with what our week has upcoming here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a loaded week, dude. I mean, if people have been already looking up, you've seen us. We went and visited yesterday. We were at the Golfzon Range by Leadbetter and Ferry Point. Today, if you're tuning in, head over to Instagram as well. You'll see a lot of over-unders being placed for Ryan and I. We got 36 holes up at Crystal Springs. We're playing 18 at Ballyowen, and then we're going to go play 18 at Crystal Springs. I mean, we got a loaded day, a lot of content being filmed, a lot of scores being posted, a lot of fun being had while visiting that lodge up there. And then to put icing on the cake is 36 holes out there at Essex County. Francis Byrne in the morning and the opening, I should say, the reopening of week.
Reopening. Yep.
It's a loaded week. It's a lot of golf. And these are two of what we've probably talked about as the top two public golf courses in the state of New Jersey. We're seeing them in 1 week this season. I can't wait to recap next week.
Yeah, we do have a big week next week, for sure, Mike. And I will say this. As we're recording this hasn't happened yet, but as you guys follow along, you've seen that we've already been at some of these places. To be able to get to Ballyowen and then get out to Francis Byrne, you've already promised me we're going to go play Hominy. We're getting top public courses out of the way this year, for lack of a better term, and we're going to have a nice little public run here and be able to talk very educated about this and intellectual about the public golf course here in New Jersey. So, yeah, we got a big week. You know how much I love Ballyowen. We didn't get to see Crystal Springs last year when we got washed out, but the people up there at Crystal Springs to have us and to host us, it's really a special trip that honestly, I know both you and I know there's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's not necessarily like we're not hitting the spa for 8 hours a day, but I do know both you and I enjoy the trip and enjoy the hospitality that we're given up there.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Mike, I don't want to get into it now, but that leads me into my trip. You just got back from a trip. It leads me into my trip, and I'm actually away after we get back from we got Crystal Springs, then we go to Francis and Week Wake. Then I head south. I'm heading to Charleston. I'm playing around. I don't know if I'll post anything from there because it's more about having fun. I'm there with some family that's there, and I don't know if I'll post from there. You and I can talk about that off camera. But then I go Charleston and Newark, and I stay in Newark's airport because I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to Ireland. So we'll talk about those courses and we'll talk more about that next week and that trip I got coming up. But man, I got another real treat with my Ireland trip coming up, and some of the same courses from last time. So we'll get to do some comparing, but some new ones in there as well. So I'm really, really excited. And again, we'll kind of break that down that'll be a big topic for next week, I assume. So
Works for me.
You got anything else for this episode today, Mike?
Nope. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Head over to Instagram.
Yeah,
You'll
you
love
got it. We are hot on there, right? Mike's been doing a great job with the posts. I should say Mike and Shaq. I don't have much to do with the socials there, but you guys are killing it with keeping everyone up to date with what we're doing. So yeah, if you're not following us on social media, the drop_pod. Get over to the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the page there. All the content's there regardless. And that's it. That's all we got for today's episode. Again, make sure you stay tuned for Thursday's episode with David Killen. Till then, cheers.